My neighbors that I talk to, they say, what about the 46 million uninsured? What are we going to do for them? Because our lawmakers have told us it's critical that we get health care so these people will be covered. But let me tell you, that number is a lie. It's a myth. I've researched 9 million of those 46 million are already on Medicaid. 3.5 million are eligible for existing government coverage. 20 million can afford insurance but choose not to. That leaves us with 13.5 million. 13.5 million uninsured, mostly accounted for by the illegal immigrant population of 7 to 20 million. Who will, by the way, be covered under Obamacare? So folks, do the math. That leaves a number of Americans without health care virtually nil. Let's fix the programs we already have. Why don't we start with fraud and abuse? And like Dr. Goss said, let's have tort reform. If our legislators are going to do anything, let's legislate tort reform. Because I think then, even as Dr. Goss said, we can all afford to pay the doctors. I think the prices will go down significantly. But remember, this isn't about what's best for Americans. It's about the power of the ruling class. I read a quote from Pravda, Russia's leading newspaper. The quote is, "It must be said that like the breaking of a great dam, the American descent into Marxism is happening with breathtaking speed. Even the Russians see it. Do we? We need to." The stimulus bills, along with cap and trade, were rammed down our throats. Now the politicians are trying to do the same with H.R. 3200. I believe all of this is unconstitutional. The politicians didn't read the bills before they passed them. They didn't give the people the truth about them. They didn't give us the opportunity to debate whether they were valid. Now they're forcing the taxpayers to pay. Does taxation without representation ring a bell? Let's hold these lawmakers accountable who voted for these abominations, and let our voices be heard now and in 2010 in the ballot box. In such a great turnout that fraud won't make a difference. And please, don't let their acorn criminals and their union thugs scare you from doing what is right. Vote them out. I'd like to end my talk with a few quotes. These two are from Obama's science czar, John P. Holdren. Look him up. He said, "There exists ample authority under which population growth could be regulated. It has been concluded that compulsory population control laws, even including laws requiring compulsory abortion, could be sustained under the existing Constitution if the population crisis became sufficiently severe to endanger the society." He also said, all the children who are born beyond what would be required to keep up the population to a desired level must necessarily perish unless room be made for them by the death of grown persons. Who's going to choose which children must perish or which grown persons? Sounds like the Obama administration has plans to control the American people from the moment of conception to the last breath we take. Let me remind you what President Kennedy said. "A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation afraid of its people." Would he recognize his party today? Would he recognize the Republican Party today? I don't think so. My last quote to share with you is from the late, great Ronald Reagan in his 1967 gubernatorial inaugural address, where he noted, "Perhaps you and I have lived with this miracle too long to be properly appreciative. Freedom is a fragile thing and is never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. Those who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again. Why are the politicians trying to silence us? Because they know the power of the spoken word. It was spoken words that tore down the Berlin Wall. And I know in my heart we can save our country if enough of us speak up. Thank you for letting me speak today.